Hello, 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 my wonder people. It is high noon on another phenomenal F Bomb Friday here in October, coming to you from the beautiful location here on the East Coast in the United States of America. I am thrilled to the gills to see you and to be speaking with you today about our second F Bomb. So let me give you 30 seconds. I'm going to let you get your dance on. We're going to shorten that 30 seconds to like 3 seconds, though, just so you know. Just so you know. Just so you know. Go ahead and get your bounce. You know how we like to bounce up in here. Get a little shoulder action. See, even Buddha behind me bouncing. Yes, yes. Okay. Now, let's get ready to do this. So remember, but before we get into this second F-bomb, I want you to know where you are, where you have landed. So check the bottom of your screen. Listen, you have landed in Practicing Positivity, the studio. And this is what we do here. It's a shared learning lab. We learn and lead each other in this place. So here at the studio, what we're all about is putting hands on, laying hands on a lifelong practice that allows us to nurture what gives energy, vitality, and love for life. You notice life there is all in caps because life is those things we love, those things that inspire us, those things that ignite our imagination, those things that give us a sense of true freedom in living. And of course, that E, having an exceptional experience. So that's what we are about here at Practicing Positivity, the studio. And I beg your pardon, I just get so excited about this thing. I get so excited about being with you all. So as you come in, please note in the comments or in the chat or however you are joining us, let me know where you're from. Let me know if you are here today to lay hands on life. So just give me a big resounding I am here for life in the comments field and let me know where you're coming from. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I said we're not going to be long today, but we're going to be strong. Now, remember, as we're talking about these 4 F bombs, I wanted to expand your daily lexicon of F bombs. These F bombs that can truly transform, not just inform, how you go about creating a life that is worthy of the magic, of the brilliance, of the wisdom, of the you that you are. So today's F-bomb, we're going to build on last week of failure. Remember, failure is, it was simply put, failure is just, hey, I set an intention, I set a result, and I didn't get there. I didn't get there in the way that I said I would, or the time frame that I said I would. Sounds easy enough, right? But we do a lot of stuff in between these 2 years, 2 years with failure. So today we want to keep building on that because as we closed out last week's discussion, I asked you to put your mind, put your heart around a really good fail. And a really good fail was defined as one of those things that every time you think about it, the next thought that comes as you reflect on that experience is, man, if I had to do again, I woulda, I coulda, I shoulda, right? That's how you know, hey, Becky, welcome, that you've landed on the right fail. So with here, we want to keep building on that by focusing on feedback. So just like last time, listen, I'm like a wordologist. I love words. I love language. Why you think I talk so much, Becky? So listen, I love it. And it helps us make sure that we're all on the same page as we start building with and building forward towards that life that we want. So here's what I want to do. I want to check this definition for you real quick. Remember, I told you, grab that pen and grab that paper. You're going to need it. I meant that thing. So as we're beginning today, here's what I am coming with in terms of feedback. I went to my good girlfriend, Merriam-Webster. You might know her. Okay, just kidding. Went to the dictionary. So here's feedback from Merriam-Webster. A transmission or the transmission of evaluative or corrective information about an action, event, or process back to the original or controlling source. So I'm going to read it one more time. The transmission of an evaluative or corrective information about an action, event, or process back to the controlling or original source. Again, like failure sounds good enough, sounds easy enough. Notice inside of that definition, my good girlfriend Miriam, she ain't say nothing about your worth. She ain't say nothing about your value. She ain't say nothing about your intelligence. It's simply corrective or evaluative information about what? The action, the event, or the process. So if you already starting to pick up what I'm putting down, you can recognize, we can start to decouple as we start thinking about feedback. We can decouple our sense of self-worth from the information about the action, event, or the process. Okay, so that's the first piece that I just want to lay down for us to work on as a foundation. So here's what I want to share with you about feedback. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, as I was talking about feedback, the power of feedback is it can give us, it's the thing that can contain the strength. It's the thing that can contain the knowledge. It's that piece that can give us that little insight that we missed, or that fresh perspective, or something that can even reignite or re-inspire us in our own effort. So feedback is essential. So whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're trying to change something, you're trying to improve something, you're trying to create something, you're trying to release something, feedback is an essential part of your process. It must be in your kit. Now, but here's where I want to hit home. Remember, I talked about that definition from our good girlfriend, Merriam-Webster? Didn't say anything about feedback having to do with your worth, having to do with your value, your intelligence, your anything. But here is the power in the reframe on feedback that I want to give you. And that's simply this. If you want to really amplify the power of feedback, I want to give you 2 keys. Please write these down. Number 1, you get to own it. You get to own it. So rather than hiding out and kind of doing your thing and, oh, well, maybe somebody will say something to me if they really like it, or I guess if it was really bad, they'll let me know, or no. Remember, we said, listen, I want you to be kamikaze. I want you to own this thing, own your feedback by being clear about from top to bottom. What is it that I was trying to do in the first place? Where is it that I was trying to go? What was I trying to accomplish? Otherwise, I might as well be asking you, what's your favorite color? Feedback only has power when it's connected to my intention, to what I've designed for myself. So my feedback then needs to be tethered to, where was I going with this? What was my target? That's the evaluative information that will matter for you. Number 2, hey, what is it that made that particular goal matter or powerful for me? Once I'm clear about where I was going, what I was trying to do, i.e., my process, remember that's in that definition. It's feedback on the process too. And then why did it matter to me in the first place? Feedback is an incredible checkpoint, Charlie. Write it down. Hashtag in the comments, checkpoint Charlie or checkpoint Charlene. I like them all. Everybody welcome up in here. Okay. It's a powerful checkpoint for you to reassess for yourself. The evaluation, that corrective feedback, the first feedback conversation I want you to have, and maybe you've picked up on it by now, this is the money shot, you guys. The first evaluation conversation or feedback conversation you want to have is with yourself. What was I trying to do? What was my process? How did I say I was going to do it? Why did it even matter to me? Does it still matter to me? Then I can get practical and tactical. Well, I said I was actually going to take 30 days for this goal, but then I started evaluating myself at day 7, and I decided, listen, this is really hard. I'm not getting the results that I want. On day 8, I'm done. I'm out. Forget it. Now, is that even the right metric for you to use for what it is that you're trying to do? If I want to be a black belt in Taekwondo in 30 days, unless I'm just writing someone a check and they're sending me a nice belt in the mail, not going to happen, right? I've already got the wrong expectation for the result that I'm going for. Okay, now, second piece, and this is also extremely powerful and related to you getting to own your feedback. You're not owning what people say, but you're starting to really own the feedback because you're owning the goal. And then you're using feedback as valuable information sources to strengthen, to improve, and to solidify your process. Second piece, if I get to own it, then the second piece of that is I must be strategic. And I have to, here's what I want you to write down around strategic. I've got to consider my sources. And I mean, Becky, you got to consider those sources. And I am not implying, I want you to be so clear. You're not looking for your own hallelujah chorus related to feedback. So you might need, some of y'all might need to write it down. I know I had to write it down. I'm not looking for a hallelujah chorus on my feedback. What I am looking for, based on what it is that I've decided I'm going to do, I'm going to be strategic. I want to actually hear from myself first, because I got to do the checkpoint Charlie with me. I got to do the checkpoint Charlene with me. I got to make sure, am I still headed in the right direction? Does this goal make sense for me now? And is it something that, oh, okay, great. All of that lines up. Hey, now how did I do it? Let's get practical, tactical. What did I say I was going to do? How did I say I was going to do it? And what did I learn in the process? You're doing your own inner assessment. Then once I spread it out, I'm looking for people that can do a couple of things. I'm going to look for someone that's a little bit ahead of me in the area that I have assessed or assigned or given myself the goal, the result that I'm going for. I need somebody to be a couple of steps ahead of me. If I'm going to use feedback, I might as well get feedback from somebody that can actually facilitate and accelerate my progress. Would you agree? Type yes in the chat, type yes in the comment section, right? You don't want to be getting feedback from people that are either at the same place that you are, or they're not even off the couch and you trying to train for a marathon. What you going to do with feedback from them? What you going to do with that feedback? You know what? When I'm on a binge marathon in Netflix, this is the position that I like to put my legs so my feet don't fall asleep. You trying to run a marathon, that's not going to help you. So you want to select people to give you feedback that are a little bit ahead of where you are, or a lot ahead of where you are, right? And then secondly, you want to get some people who are not only ahead of where you are, but you want to diversify that feedback. Get some people who think differently than you do. Get some people with different skill set than you have. Get some people who have a different mindset than you have about running. This is why, if your goal is running a marathon, then join runners groups. People who are all levels of skill and experience, but also people who've already, remember what we said last time, like my mom used to say, got their mind right. They've got their mind locked on the goal. So they're not going to be a part of your, oh, ain't it awful chorus. They're going to be a part of, well, this is how I dealt with that challenge. I know that's what I did when I started running. I joined a group because I knew I needed people who could talk me into my goal, because I still had the programming and the habit of talking myself sideways or out of my goal. So this is what, none of this is new information. I'm sharing this with you because these are the things at 52, as I am beginning to look at my life and my next chapter. What are the F-bombs that can set it off for me? And one of the things that I noticed about me, I would avoid feedback like the plague. And here's what I found at 52. My life was getting increasingly smaller. The space in which I had to breathe, to function, to live, to express myself, to do things that really made my heart happy, those spaces and places were getting fewer and farther between, and smaller and smaller and smaller. So one of the things that we want to do in these F-bomb conversations is help you unlock your energy and your potential so that you're able to access that potential in a way that can work for you. All right. So with that is our F-bomb Friday. F-bomb number 2, feedback. So you want to activate that feedback in a way that works for you. Feedback can fuel you forward when you own the feedback. You own the feedback by doing yourself the great favor of coming back in and remembering, why was I even trying to do that thing in the first place? And let me get conscious and strategic and practical and tactical about what feedback will push me forward and not help to push me to the left side or to the right side, or even push me back. So you get to own the whole process. And then in so doing, you create your own strategic team of people, of engineers that help to give you fresh perspective, that help to give you good information that can flatten your own learning curve by several years, that can help save you a few bruises because you're not running into the same brick walls and doorways, because they show you how to navigate around that stuff, right? So own your feedback. All right, that is what I have for you today. I told you we weren't going to be long, but we were going to be strong. So I hope you agree. Go ahead and let me know in the chat and in the comment section, if you have picked up something that has been of use for you. Please go ahead and put it in the comment section. Now, before we get out of here, here's what I want to make sure that I do. What's your homework? What are we working on for the next 7 days? So here, so that I do not forget a bit of it, to build on our work on failure from last week, you want to take a good look at a fail. And you want to do your own feedback. You want to work this 2-step process that we just talked about. The 2-step is, I'm evaluating for myself. I'm evaluating, what did I say I was going to do? How did I go about doing it? Why was that goal worth and worthy of my energy, my time, and my investment? And is it still? You got to do some inner work first. Then you're going to go out and get some feedback from some other people. You're going to start building your advisory team. So you're going to get some feedback from a couple of other folks that are a little bit ahead of you in relation to that specific goal that you're using as a part of your fail experimentation and review, And then you want to get some folks that have a different perspective. Yeah, they're a little bit ahead of you, but they do think about things differently. What might I learn from someone who has a different perspective, who approaches this thing in a different way? Somebody who loves running, because right now I don't really love it. Somebody who loves Taekwondo. Right now I'm feeling really discouraged because I still got my white belt and ain't no yellow tape on there. Ain't nothing happening, right? So that's how you want to work this between now and next week. This is really important, you guys. Week 3, we're headed into flow. Remember the 4 F-bombs we're working on the month of October: failure. Today, feedback. Next week, this is all giving us some propulsion to have a fantastic conversation about flow. Flow. How do we get to that place where things seem effortless? Time stands still. Hey, is it 5 minutes or is it 5 hours? I don't know. I've just been in, right? We're going to focus on flow next week. So I will see you then. In the meantime, don't forget, if you are hitting me up on YouTube, please like and subscribe. That really helps the channel and that helps me. And also, if you're tuning in on TGC Positivity and Facebook, like and follow the page so you can stay tuned. And also so that we can continue to grow this. Remember, what did I say? Look at the bottom, Shared Learning Lab. And this is that place where we uncover, discover, and recover those practices, those resources and tools that give us life. So I will see you next week. Thank you so much. Becky, you're awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for all the others that I can't see, because I do have a little delay here, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will get back at it next week. All right, dance it out. I gave you 3 seconds in. I'm going to give you 5 seconds out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. See you soon.